Hello everyone, welcome to League of Legends Champion Spotlight featuring Darkface. So yeah, here we have our previous champion, Mr. Janbert de la Cruz's deck with his Megacolony deck featuring Darkface, of course. Darkface machining, deck name Pablo's gift. So Mr. Janbert, tell us how your deck works.
Okay, so to start off with the grade 3s, I run 4 Dark Faces.
For Darkfaces.
He helps with the hand size and the pressure. For a counter blast one, it's either I will get 2 cards in my hand or my opponents will be forced for them to retire those 2 rear guards I paralyzed. Okay. Next grade 3s, I run 4 of the PR Legion, Machining Tarantula MK2. Most people run the Break Ride, but I use this one because the Break Ride, I realized that it is too slow, and the Legion, it's Legion. You draw a lot in this deck, so Legion will be very helpful in late games. And last grade 3, I run 1 Machining Warsicle. Warsicle is for the cases when opponents at 5 damage and open counter blasts and you can't do anything but, when you know your opponent doesn't have a grade 3 in hand, Warsicle comes in handy, especially with his second skill that combos with the critical trigger. Okay, for the grade 2s, I run 4 Charming Mutant Sweet Cocktail. Sweet Cocktail is Sweet Cocktail is the Amber clone for Megacolony. Same ability as Darkface, but this time it only targets 1 and it also cannot intercept. Next is I run Buster Mantis for Buster Mantis. Buster Mantis is the GB1 12k attacker for Megacolony. I chose him over the other cards because I run stand triggers and he goes perfect with it. It makes lanes harder to guard and it stands, so it doesn't only do 14k, it does 17 when it stands. So.
Very nice.
And it's additional, it's the only 12k beater, G beater that can attack a rear guard and still get the +3 bonus. Next, we run 2 of the mate of Machining Tarantula and K2. Only 2 because you don't want him flooding. And if you get him in your soul, it's fine, as long as you don't get him in your damage. If you get him in your hand, it's fine. If you get him in your soul, it's fine, as long as not in the damage. So 1 is too little, so I found 2 is nice. And then last, I run 2 Machining Papilios. Machining Papilio is 8k, paralyze 1 when placed on your guard, no cost. So it helps relieve some pressure in early game and helps you get that 3rd stun, which will help you draw more cards due to the stun trigger, which we will talk about later. For the grade 1s, I run 4 of the Stride Fathers. Basically, helps you stride and search Darkface. Next, I run 4 Machining Mosquito. I run him because it helps in Darkface skill, and Darkface GB2 skill is Soul +2 when opponent places down a rear guard, rest it. This will help really much for his second ability. First ability, sorry. Next, we run 4 PGGs. Rebel Mutant Star Shield. Helps you on flip damage, and of course PG. The deck is kind of counter blast heavy, so yeah. Okay, go on to the triggers. Run 4 of the Machining Crits. Paralyze 1 when placed and stand 1 of your rear guards. If you have a Machining Vanguard, so works if your Vanguard is the Legion or Warsicle. So 2 more Machining Crits, vanilla. 4 of the Earth Dreamer, probably one of the key cards of the deck. His ability is GB1. At the beginning of your opponent's ride phase, if his rest rear guards is 3 or more, it returns the stand trigger returns to the deck, and then you get to draw 2 cards. It's spammable, so if you have 2 on the field, it's like draw 4, and if you have 3, it's like draw 6. Then we run 2 machining draw triggers and 4 machining heals. So the reason why most of the triggers are machining because of the soul charge. If you ever get to soul charge a trigger and it's machining, it can be used by the Legion. So you can get free stuns. Okay, for the starter, I run Young Executive Crime Bug. Crime Bug helps you get that 3rd stun in your first try turn, or whenever you have that stand trigger in hand, or whenever there's an annoying grade 2 on the field. Okay.
So his deck lineup right now is at 9 grade 3s, 12 grade 2s, and 12 grade 1s, and the usual 17 triggers. And moving on to the strides, we will have...
Okay, first we got 2
17 zeros, sorry. Just
Poison
realized my
Spear
mistake.
Mutant Deity Paraspear. Paraspear, basically your first stride in the game. Helps you get more hand cards, helps you get back that card you strided with, and it rests all the regards, which sets up Buster Mantis' ability to be a 12k beater. Yes. You got 4 Spear Mutant Deity Stun Beetle. Stun Beetle is your main card in the deck. He takes out PGs or makes your opponent hard guard. So get a booster behind him, and yes, he will be taking out a lot of hand cards. Then we have 1 Deforestation Mutant Deity. Yes, Jaggy Devil. Jaggy Devil is your only first try if your opponent doesn't call. Like if he only has 1 rare card, you don't want to waste Paraspear. Paraspear will be very essential later on. So Jaggy Devil will be nice just to stun that single rear guard there. And sometimes pressure can't do anything else than that. And last we got Blizza. Blizza is probably will be your second finisher if they will be running out of PGs for Stun Beetle. And then you stride him, and then if they're out of PGs, they're pretty much screwed. If they're at 5 damage, that is it. Or 4 and you get the green. Okay.
So yeah, this is Mr. Janbert's deck, machining and Darkface Megacolony. If you want to know more on how this deck works and runs, watch his matches directly on the link below. So yeah. This is Team ContiBreak here at Honors Ground Baguio. If you want to join us on our Sunday sanctions or Saturday sanctions, they're at Saturdays and Sundays. So yeah, thank you very much.
And shout out to Pablo, by the way.
So yeah, see you again, guys.